me, keep a 20 on me, case emergency. Ain't no cap in my rap. Real, I know it's the trap. More profit mean extra. Emerald white off full of pressure. That cereal milk smoking right. But that Obama rant some special. Kansas City, I'm a chief. Shout out to K5 on this one. Country thinking I was hustling. I don't way you had it on me. Booming like OJ the juice. Till a nigga told on me. From now on it's relentless. Ain't no love, we ain't friendly. If she want me on him. No the law, she get the business. No the law, still the motto. Empire.
Hello. Welcome in. This is the Birds of the Feather podcast with your boy Q City.
Your boy Todd Bravado.
And the Orange Man.
And we are back again. We're going to get into weeks 9, 10, and 11. Let's go ahead, hop in. We got a lot to cover. This Thursday night primetime game, right? Two teams that I think we're all as a group kind of hot and cold on right here, right? So we've got Houston at the New York Jets. Me personally, I think Houston got this one. If I'm not mistaken, I have them right around 500 around this time. I think they'll need this game, and I think this week Halloween starts the implosion of the Jets. Where you at with it, Orange? Yeah.
That's funny you would say that because I thought the exact same thing. I have Houston at 4-4 at this point, and I think that the Houston defense is going to bother Mr. Rogers' neighborhood to such a degree that I don't think it's going to be a close game at all. I think Houston's going to run away with this, and Aaron may decide to retire after this game.
I'm going to go with Houston as well. I think it's going to be a good game. And the Jets defense may not be exactly what people expect, missing one of them edge rushers because it's already not looking like he's going to play. So we'll see.
All right. So then we move on to Sunday. We've got a huge 1 o'clock slate. Denver, Baltimore, Miami, Buffalo, New Orleans, Carolina, Las Vegas, Cincinnati. So out of those, right, I think Baltimore at home shellacks Denver. By that time, I actually expect Bo Nix to be starting, especially considering a lot of, what's been going on, Sean Payton talking about and whatnot. Miami at Buffalo, for me, it's Halloween. It's not that cold yet. So I'm still going to take Miami right here. I might end up regretting it, but I'm going to take Miami here. New Orleans at Carolina. I got to give Taj props on this one. He called it way before anyone else. Derek Carr might not make it through the whole season. And Bryce Young, I expect a better season out of him. Carolina's at home, so I'll take Carolina there. And then Las Vegas and Cincinnati. Las Vegas quarterback situation is one of the worst in the league. And with that, they chose a tight end in the first round. They have it's not going to look good. If Joe Burrow is healthy, I expect Cincy in that game.
Denver at Baltimore. I just have 3-word explanation for this game, which is no explanation needed. Miami at Buffalo. Buffalo is going to need this game. I initially thought Miami would take this one, but as I was looking at where everybody is in the standings, and I think Buffalo's going to need this game. They're going to be hungrier, so I give this one to Buffalo. New Orleans at Carolina. Upset number 1 of the year. The Carolina Panthers win their first game of the season
Jeez. Yeah, you had them 0-7 at this point, didn't you?
That's right. Panthers. I
Uh,
have Panthers throw a parade, second only to Mardi Gras. As far as the Raiders and the Cincinnati Bengals, this is the game where Burrow gets hurt, and I'm giving it to the Raiders.
wow.
Well, I'm gonna go with an upset. I'm gonna take the Broncos over the Ravens.
I just
Whoa.
want you to know every time you've picked the Broncos to win this season, which is like 4 times at this point, you said I'm going to go with the upset. At some point, it's not an upset.
I mean, as it stands now, it's an upset. Because due to the national media's outlook on, I think the Broncos are gonna be better than people expecting. Bo Nix might be better than I thought he was. Whew.
Cap.
Whew. I said
Cap.
might be.
Cap.
You don't know what you don't know. Um, I'm going to take Miami over Buffalo. Um, Saints. Well, I think I got them at 1, maybe 2 wins. They're getting another loss. I hope the Saints get the number 1 pick and Shadur Sanders turns them down, Eli style.
This is Kendrick levels of hate, my boy.
And then I'm going to take the Raiders over the Bengals.
Just straight up.
They're just straight up. It's
Maybe
going to be
I'm
a gritty
tripping.
game.
All right. So then keep going on the 12 o'clock schedule. We got Indy versus Minnesota, Washington versus New York, New England at the Titans. Indy and Minnesota. I hate what happened to McCarthy. As y'all can tell when we recording this by now. I hate what
Too much on
happens.
Saturday.
But well by what's it called? Halloween, I expected him to be in. But I think Indy got that game. Washington at New York. I had Washington winning the first one at home. I'll take New York here. And then New England at Tennessee. I'm gonna take Tennessee. I don't have them winning much this year, but I gotta give them this one. New England just they look
better than people
inept.
think.
they look bad. I ain't gonna lie.
Well, since this is Halloween, this is the week of the tricks. This is the week of the upsets. We already had Panthers winning their first game and the Raiders over the Bengals. That's going to be an upset. Well, I'm going to continue with that here. The Minnesota Vikings are going to upset my Indianapolis Colts. Anthony Richardson's going to have a bad day. And the Colts are going to take them lightly, and I think the Vikings go in there and upset the Indianapolis Colts. The Commanders and the New York Giants, the Giants got to win a game at home. I'm going to give the Giants the upset here. And then New England and Tennessee, this is the Toilet Bowl. Toilet Bowl 2024 for the NFL top pick in the draft. And the winner is the Tennessee Titans. They defeat the New England Patriots.
Mm. I'm going to take the Vikings over the Colts. I think the Vikings are just a better team. I just think they're a better team. Colts are a good team. I want to believe in Anthony Richardson. Still think he needs a little bit of
Sam Darnold.
seasoning.
This is.
I
You're
mean,
picking Sam Darnold.
okay, if we're being realistic, Anthony Richardson is a worse passer than Sam Darnold right now. There's no debate about that.
He's not the what? I didn't catch what you said.
He's a worse passer than Sam Darnold at this point in his career.
Okay.
What he gives you is run game.
Mm-hmm.
You can make that face all you want to, Watch the film.
Mm.
I don't believe in Richardson. I don't believe in Richardson's arm, and I don't know if I believe if he can protect himself when it comes to staying healthy. He
I can
hasn't
get
shown that
behind
he
you on
has.
that one. I can get behind you on that one. You're a little reckless.
But
I agree.
even if you remove the quarterbacks, the Vikings have the better roster, better O line, better receivers. Um, Defense is both sides, just whatever. But yeah, I'm gonna go Vikings. I'm gonna take the Commanders to split the Giants because I think the Commanders are gonna be a sneaky good team this year. Um, Tennessee gets another win because unlike y'all that live there, I actually believe in the Titans.
Yeah, I'm a Falcons fan, dog. Like I call it how I see it with my glasses on. You understand? Like,
That Titan team is gonna be better than people think.
you said that about a couple teams now. You might be right. You might be on to something. I just don't believe it. All right. So the last two games in the 12 o'clock, both our teams are on there. So we've got the LA Chargers versus the Cleveland Browns. Browns at home. Chargers love to run the ball, but I love the Browns at home. I love their defense. I think that the way the Chargers want to play, which is running the ball and then like deep play action throws, that's what Harbaugh loves, fits right into Cleveland's defense. So I got Cleveland in that game, and I actually think that might be one of the Chargers' rougher games of the season. I think at this point in time, I have them at 5 wins, so people are going to be kind of high on them. And I think after this week, the national media kind of turns on them a little bit. Not saying I will, but I think this might be one of those ugly, ugly looking games for them. Harbaugh had a couple when he was with San Fran, a bunch of times where teams just kind of keyed in on what he liked to do. Um, yeah, so I think I got Cleveland in this one.
Chargers at the Browns. Once again, it's Halloween. The trick is the upset. Upset again. The Browns have a better team. The game is at home. The Browns defense loves to play at home. Everything points to the Cleveland Browns, which is exactly the kind of game that the Cleveland Browns go, oops. And that's what I think is going to happen this time. Chargers come in and beat the Browns.
My opinion of the Chargers has shifted since we started this journey here. Um, I don't think the Chargers are going to be very good. Um, Now, so with that said, I think the Browns are going to do them bad.
And then our big national game, there's going to be a lot of eyes on it. Dallas at Atlanta. Um, to be honest with you, if Kirk is still starting at this point in the season, Atlanta at home, I love Atlanta in this spot. To be
Why
completely
wouldn't he
honest with you,
start?
we can talk about that later. We talk about that on the Hawks Pod. We talk about that on the Hawks Pod. Raheem Morris is making crazy statements, Doug. But I like Kirk in this spot. I like the Falcons team in this spot. At home, to be honest, I think Micah can cause a lot of issues, especially if our offense tends to be more pass based. Especially if they line him up over McGarry. But overall, I think the Falcons are a better team in this situation. So I got the Falcons.
Well, like I said, Halloween, trick or treat. Here's another trick. After the Cowboys, I have the Cowboys at what's their record? At 2-5, and they are desperate. They've lost 3 straight games. I have them as of this point. I think they come up with another big upset in this week of upsets. I'm taking the Dallas Cowboys over the Atlanta Falcons.
So this has been a great week to be a Falcons fan. So
It has been. It has been.
so in the arrival of the recent news, I would like to retract all losses I gave to the Falcons. It was only like one or two, but yeah, we can take that back. We're gonna be 8-0, 8-9-0 by this summer, and we're gonna continue to train on the Cowboys. We gonna give Dak Prescott hell. Matthew Judon gonna get about 3 sacks. Justin Simmons gonna pick him off once, and Jesse gonna pick him off twice. It's gonna be a flood. It's gonna be the game where Jerry gets Bill on the phone.
Not like on a completely separate note, putting that out there. McCarthy don't make it through this season. Especially like if they start like you said, 2-5,
Mm-hmm.
3-7, McCarthy's not making it through this season. Um and to be honest, I think they make that move sooner rather than later. So like if they come to Atlanta with a record 2 games below 2 or 3 games below 500 and get blown out,
Mm-hmm.
he ain't making it back to Dallas.
Totally
No,
agree
no,
with that.
but in all seriousness, I do got us winning, but I think it'd be maybe like a touchdown game. But I do think that Judon about to get after it because they ain't got nobody to stop him.
No, no, not at all. All right. So getting into the afternoon games, in the Sunday night, we've got Chicago at Arizona, Detroit at Green Bay, the Rams at Seattle, Jacksonville at Philly. So Arizona, a lot of people have them being just like this terrible team this year. I actually think they're going to beat Chicago at home. Um, Green Bay, Detroit at Green Bay. I've got Green Bay on a streak right now, but I will take Detroit in this game just because I have them splitting, and I'm pretty sure I had Green Bay won in the first game. The Rams at Seattle. This seems like a prime game for Seattle to win, but I'm gonna go with the Rams. I think they're the better team. And then Jacksonville at Philly. I had Philly really, really high this year, and a lot of this stuff coming out about like why that season spiraled last year gives me great pause as to think they're going to be good this year. Um, and people like Trevor Lawrence got hurt. Jacksonville was 8-3 at a point last year.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Before he got his leg snapped in half, and then like kept playing. One, I think that's a separate conversation. To all my athletes, if you're hurt, keep playing. If you're injured, sit down. You know what I'm saying? And like we kind of saw that transpire last year with the Jags. I think he's good, and I think that team is better than most people think. Uh, so with all that, I got them beating Philly. So I got Arizona, Detroit, the Rams, and Jacksonville.
That's funny because I think this is going to be Caleb's welcome to the NFL moment. I think he's going to shine greatly, and I'm taking Chicago to upset Arizona because this is the week for upsets. Detroit at Green Bay. At some point in time, all the love right now is going to Detroit. The media is just pouring and falling all over Detroit. And I think that this is the game that Mr. Love and the rest of the Packers say, wait a minute, we're in this game too. You're at our house. Now you may be the tough guys, but you're at our house, and we're gonna show you how we play here in Green Bay. So I think Green Bay takes care of Detroit because the Packers aren't going to go down without a fight. Rams and the Seahawks, because it's Halloween, because it's trick or treat, because this is the week of upsets. I have the Seattle Seahawks pulling the upset. Everybody say it together. Upsets are arising. Seattle upsets the Rams, and then Jacksonville and Philly. I'm not sold on Trevor Lawrence, um, and the way Philadelphia collapsed last year. I don't think it's going to happen twice, although it could. Um, I think this particular game that the Philly defense exposes uh, um Trevor. Trevor? Yeah, Trevor. I think the Philly defense exposes Trevor, and I give the game to Philly.
Okay, so Chicago and Arizona. I'm going to go Chicago. I think Chicago is going to be a pretty good team. Um, Now this Green Bay Detroit game, I'm going to take the upset and go with Green Bay. Um, I think Jordan Love is going to continue his ascension on his MVP run. So yeah, this could be a MVP moment for him actually. Now, I do believe that the Seahawks are the better team when it comes to them and the Rams, and I'm going to treat this game accordingly, and I'm going to go with the Seahawks. And I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are going to have a season. Um, so I'm picking them over the Eagles. But I think this is probably going to be Sirianni's last year in Philly.
Mm.
I wouldn't be surprised. I
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Rounding out the rest of week 9, we got Kansas City. We got Tampa at Kansas City. Um, Not gonna lie to you, this one's my upset of the week. I think Tampa beats Kansas City. Baker has shown a propensity to just randomly give you a 350-yard, 3 touchdown, 1 interception game,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel like Kansas City is not a good defense. People see Pat and all that he does. Kansas City is not a good defense. Kansas City was a great defense last year. Um, but they did lose a corner. No, Chris Jones, best D tackle in the league. But like outside of him, the pass rush, Karlaftis, he's not necessarily getting home. Um, I wouldn't be surprised if there was some regression there this year. And I think Baker just surprisingly really, really good in primetime games. Uh, I think he lights him up one time. And I I wouldn't be surprised. So I got Tampa with this one. Plus, it keeps the NFC South race a little interesting, and I go for that.
Tampa Bay at Kansas City. I thought about Baker because I know him well, and I thought, well, I really think that Baker can beat Kansas City. But then there's this Mahomes magic, and I see this game being Tampa Bay just doing a number on Kansas City for the first 53, 54 minutes. And then it's all of a sudden, it's just like a light just turns on. And Patrick Mahomes says, you know what? We can play. I see them putting on this fierce fourth quarter comeback and winning the game in the final seconds. Kansas City takes the victory right from under Baker's feet. Kansas City wins in the last seconds.
I agree with you. I don't think it's going to be a comeback though. I think it's going to be a flat out Chiefs win. But yeah, I think the Chiefs. It won't be a blowout, but it'll be a convincing victory.
All right, so that wraps us up into week 9. Heading into week 10, we've got a great one on Thursday night. Cincinnati at Baltimore. Love that game. I got Baltimore in this one. I'm not gonna lie to you. I think they're on a streak. Great regular season team. Burrow, since he's going to be coming off a pretty big win the last week, so not big in terms of you know meaning for the season, but big in terms of they're probably going to blow them out. So I got Baltimore this week.
Well, Burrow didn't play last week, and he's gonna come out of the dressing room and show he is worth every penny that they're giving him. I got Burrow taking care of the Baltimore Ravens, and this will prove to be one of the worst upsets for Baltimore from a tiebreaker standpoint, as you will find out come Week 18.
Mm, I'm gonna take the Bengals. Um, Division games are tough. Um, and they kind of go back and forth. So I'm gonna go with the Bengals. And this is probably gonna be a game where T Higgins lights him up. In his contract year.
Nah, that's facts.
Yep.
But I mean, hey, it's a contract year for Jamar Chase too. They ain't paid him yet neither. That's not
So I mean,
anyway.
he got 2 more years before he actually a free agent.
Man, bro, no first
He could,
round pick.
he could, hey, he could hold out all he wants to. He under contract for 2 more years. Higgins a free agent after this year.
There's precedent, man. There's precedent. First
President,
round
but,
picks.
but it's only a contract for one of them.
Yeah, nah, man. Fuck that. I'm not stepping on the field. Get paid. All right. So the early slate. We got a London game and then on the 12 o'clock slate. So the London game, New York at Carolina. Bryce Young wins
I'm not gonna
again.
waking up for it.
Oh yeah, no. I'm not gonna watch it. Well, no, I ain't got no choice. It's a division game. All right, gotta watch it.
Man, I might watch that game and overcook the Falcons game because of how bored I'll be.
Absolutely not. You can't do that.
Exactly. So I'm not gonna do this to myself.
It starts at 9:30. By the time it's over, it goes straight into the Falcons game. We're not gonna do
Well,
this. We're not
it's
gonna do
gonna put me to
this.
sleep. I'm gonna be like,
Every time. But New York at Carolina, got Carolina there. New England at Chicago, Buffalo and Indy, Minnesota at Jacksonville, then Denver at Kansas City. So, like I said, got Carolina, New England at Chicago. New England is going to be rough for you this year. I got Chicago in this one. Buffalo at Indy. I think that is going to be an amazing game. I'm going to take Buffalo in this one. Minnesota at Jacksonville. I got Jacksonville again on that one, and then Denver at Kansas City. Patrick Mahomes almost never loses to Denver, so I will take Kansas City.
Giants at Carolina. It's going to be an interesting game because Carolina Panthers are still going to have confetti on their shoulders from the parade they had last week when they won their first game. So the Giants are going to stumble to a victory just because the Panthers are going to be talking. They won't even be watching the Giants. They're going to be, did you see us last week? Yeah, we was good. Yeah. And the Giants will score. So it's going to be an ugly game, but and the Panthers are just, they won't care because they got their victory. New England and the Bears, I'm giving Caleb his first back-to-back win. And plus, I just don't see the Patriots doing much of anything. Bills at Indianapolis. The Colts bounce back after their upset from last week. Vikings and the Jaguars. I'm not sure if this game is going to be a Jacksonville victory because of the Vikings D or the Jacksonville O. I just know that I have no faith in what Minnesota brings to the table. And even though I don't have that much faith in Trevor, I believe he's going to have enough. Him and the Jags are going to have enough to beat the Vikings. And then Denver at Kansas City, interdivision. Tough, but it's a home game for Kansas City. And I basically think that's the only reason I'm going to give it this one to Kansas City.
Now, Russell Wilson's like 13 or 15-1 versus the Broncos. He almost never loses to them. That Russell Wilson loss last year was like his first loss ever to the Broncos. So like
Russell Wilson.
Yeah. When Russell Wilson beat him last year?
The Broncos?
When Russell Wilson beat Patrick Mahomes last year.
But what he got to do with this game?
No, I was saying that was like his first loss to the Broncos in forever. So that's why, like, I pretty much always type in Kansas City versus the Broncos because Patrick Mahomes almost never loses to the Broncos, like 15-1 or something.
You mixed your words up a little bit, but I'm gonna let that slide.
What did I
You
mix?
came,
What did I mix up?
you came in saying Russell Wilson was 13-1 versus the Broncos. I'm like, huh?
I said that Russell Wilson win last year.
No, you said he was 13-1 versus the Broncos, and then you kept on saying Russell Wilson and Russell Wilson.
All right, Tosh. All right, you over there with that freaking T-Mobile internet over there? Can't hear nobody. It's all good.
Nah, I
I'm good.
heard you. You said Russell Wilson. That's why I was like, what are you 13? Like, what the world? He was 13-1 versus the Broncos. He just played for the Broncos. What are you talking about?
You know I edit these. I'm gonna go back and look at
All
that.
right, when you added it, get back to me.
All right, $5.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm confused. I don't. I'm not. Where are we? Where are we?
Oh, it's Tosh. It's on Tosh.
Oh, okay.
You know, got me all off base. So all right, so yeah, this news fest. I'm gonna flip a coin. Yeah, Giants. I'm going to take the Bears over the Patriots. I'm going to take the Bills over the Colts. The Vikings Jags might be the best, one of the better games of this early slate. But I'm going to take the Jags. And Chiefs and Broncos. You ever seen House Party? You know, like
Yeah.
remember when he snuck back in his house and his dad called him? He said, I wasn't in the bed just yet. And fuck that about there. That's gonna be the Chiefs to the Broncos. Yeah.
All
So
right.
yeah.
So when we go and we clear out the rest of the last 12 o'clock games, we got San Fran versus Tampa, Pittsburgh versus Washington. I got San Fran beating Tampa off them riding high, and then you got to pick Pittsburgh in some games because for some reason they're going to end up 9-8 or 8-9. So I'll take them against Washington in that game.
They're 1 o'clock games, by the way. You say 12.
I'm looking at Central Time, bro.
San Francisco at Tampa Bay. San Francisco begins their Super Bowl hangover slide. Every year, the team that loses the Super Bowl in the modern era, only the Patriots have come back to appear in a Super Bowl after they lost, and it's always something weird, some strange thing, whether it be an injury or something. And I think this is the game that San Francisco begins its Super Bowl hangover slide. I'm giving Tampa Bay the nod here. And Pittsburgh and Washington, this is the game that Justin gets benched when Washington walks all over them.
Whew.
Okay. I agree with the Bucks Niners games. I do think the Buccaneers are going to get one over the Niners. However, I think this is going to be Jaden Daniels' welcome to the NFL game. TJ Watt is about to be well acquainted with him. Yeah, I think the Steelers are going to have their way. Well, I can't say have their because I'm not confident in their offense at all with the play caller, but that might be a personal bias of mine.
A little bit. So, on to our big game of the week. Going down to New Orleans, Falcons at New Orleans. Yeah. Yeah, I think that we are going to be facing a rookie quarterback this week. And I also believe that the Falcons are going to absolutely destroy the Saints in New Orleans this game. This is one of our bigger games of the season. I think this is when New Orleans starts to look at their future more so. Um, you can get rid of Derek Carr after the end of this year. I think they want to see what they have in Rattler, and waiting until their bye week is a little late. I think they go ahead and start him this week, and I think this might be the worst week to start him because I think Atlanta's going to get busy on him. I got Atlanta big in New Orleans.
The NFL's dynamic kickoff has been a topic of conversation. And I think that in this game, Atlanta and New Orleans, that the game will be decided in overtime by the first kickoff return under this new dynamic kickoff procedure, and the Atlanta Falcons will own that and take this game in overtime in the dynamic kickoff's first kickoff return for a touchdown in overtime.
Um, it's well documented how I feel about the Saints. Um, and, I mean, the quarterback really don't matter. Derek Carr, Spencer Rattler, it don't matter. They throwing about 3, 4 picks regardless. It's gonna get ugly. And when I mean ugly for my Sanford and Son, it's gonna get extra ugly. No contest.
I
Falcons in a landslide.
Absolutely. So as we
And
go on to
that's just
finish,
not even bias.
you know what? I can't even blame you on this one because I do 100% think that they gonna drag them this week. Um, so going on to finish the rest of the week out, the late games, the Sunday night, we got Tennessee with the Chargers, Tennessee at the Chargers, the Jets at Arizona, Philly at Dallas, and then Detroit at Houston. Um, Tennessee and LA have always played really, really close games, but because I've got LA losing last week, I'm gonna take them this week. But I wouldn't be surprised if that's one the Titans managed to pull out. But I've got LA officially on that one. The Jets and the Cardinals. Cardinals surprise, back to back wins. Um, Philly at Dallas. I don't like either of these teams at this point in the season. Um, Dak plays really good against divisional teams, but as we discussed, they might be going through a coaching change at this point in time. And that's if Philly isn't going through a coaching change at this point. Uh, I don't like either one of these teams, but I'll choose Dallas because they're at home. And then Detroit at Houston. Detroit wrote Warriors last week. Houston upset last week. Gonna go Houston this
Tennessee's going to suck this year,
week.
and the world's going to know how much they suck because I have the Los Angeles Chargers setting a record for most points scored in a half in this particular game. The Chargers will be able to play the cheerleaders in the second half because Tennessee will just have nothing. The Jets and the Cardinals. I got the Cardinals taking the upset, and it's going to upset the coach so much they're going to contemplate. They're going to look at their quarterback situation and see if Aaron Rodgers really is where they need to go for the rest of the year, or for the rest of their career. So I'm taking the Cardinals over the Jets. Philadelphia Eagles at Dallas. It's home pride week for Dallas and for their new coach. I do have their new coach coaching his first game, and they will defeat the Philadelphia Eagles for their new coach. And then the Detroit Lions stand up and say, yes, we are for real. I don't care what the papers say, and they're going to show that by beating the Houston Texans.
I know I had the Chargers losing last week, and I think this is going to be a continuation of losses. I think the Titans are going to win. I'm going to take Arizona over the Jets. I will take Philly over Dallas. And I'm going to take Houston over Detroit.
I agree there. And then moving up for Monday Night Football to end it up for the season, we've got Miami at the Rams. Now, for me personally, I think it's crazy work to finish the Chargers game, have a game played on that field, and then turn around and have it ready on Monday night for the Rams. So I think the what's called the footing is going to be kind of iffy that game, but Miami's traveling cross country. I just off GP, I got to give it to the Rams on this one.
Miami at the Rams. I got to go with the Rams only because I have more confidence in Stafford than Tua. Give me the Rams.
Now, you mentioned the Miami coming across country. Yes, it's a factor, but would it being a night game, that really equates it to it being like a 5 o'clock game? Well, no, actually, no, 11. My bad. Ooh,
Yeah, they're traveling west.
ooh.
Yeah.
I'm still gonna say Miami, but they can be tired. But I think that speed gonna be too much for the Rams because I don't like. I don't know what they have on defense that could possibly slow them down.
No, I think
I
Raheem
mean,
did an amazing job last year because I can't name
I mean,
nobody.
he did, but he didn't have Aaron Donald. Aaron Donald out of there.
This is also true. All right,
Like,
so rolling into our go ahead.
no, that's it. Yeah,
Rolling into our last
yeah.
week, week 11, last week of this episode, we've got Washington and Philly on the primetime Thursday night game. If there's going to be a game that gets Sirianni run out of town, I think it would be this one. I'm not even lying. Like you lose to Dallas at home, come back short week, and you lose to a rookie quarterback in Washington. I think this might be the one to get him out of there. So I will pick Washington this game, and this is Sirianni's last game coaching.
Washington at Philly. I'm taking Philly because they're home and they got embarrassed the week before by losing to Dallas. So I think they're going to lick their wounds there and come back and defeat Washington.
I got Washington on a 2-game skid after this game. They're going to lose to Philly. It's just going to be too much for them.
So going into the early Sunday games, we got Green Bay at Chicago, Jacksonville at Detroit, Las Vegas at Miami, and the Rams heading east all the way to New England. So Green Bay, Chicago, love that divisional game. I got my Green Bay back on their winning ways. Like I said, they're going to be on a streak this season. Jacksonville at Detroit. I got Detroit 1-1 the past couple weeks. And I don't have a bunch of faith in Jacksonville, but I do think they're a playoff team. Even still, I think that's going to be a rough game, so I'm going to choose Detroit there. Las Vegas at Miami. I give that to Miami. That's a tough road trip coming east that far. It's 2 time zones and then it's South Florida. And for the same reason, I'm going to take New England over the Rams. Like you're coming east. You had a Monday game and then you got an early game on Saturday. So I think that's tough. New England, if I'm not mistaken, this is their second win of the season for me.
Um, Green Bay at Chicago. Caleb is better this week, but not better enough to beat Green Bay. So I'll give that game to Green Bay. Jacksonville at Detroit. Once again, Detroit wants to show they are for real, and I don't think Jacksonville is for real. So with that in play, give me Detroit. The Raiders and the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins will be looking forward to the next week when they play New England, and I think the Raiders tiptoe inside, beat them, and get out of town before Miami knows what hit them. And then the Rams at New England. New England has nothing, so I'm going to give that one to the Rams.
I'm going to take the Packers over the Bears. It's gonna be a good game, but Jordan Love gonna tell Caleb he ain't there yet. Detroit, I see Detroit handling Jacksonville pretty good this game. Um, in a complete team win. I see Miami getting. I see Miami handling the victory. They're gonna take care of business versus the Raiders. New England sucks. That's yeah, they suck.
So going into the rest of the early games, we've got Baltimore at Pittsburgh, uh, Minnesota at Tennessee. Not gonna lie to you, think Tennessee gets another win at home, right? I think they were close versus the Chargers last week, but they get another, or was it 2 weeks ago? No, last week. They were close versus Chargers last week. Tennessee gets a win at home. And then that Baltimore Pittsburgh game, it's always a tough game. And I've had Baltimore riding high for a couple weeks. I think they're primed for a letdown. So I will take Pittsburgh that game.
Yes, Baltimore, Pittsburgh. I had them losing last week. Baltimore, yes, to Cincinnati, and I think Pittsburgh comes in there and hands them their first consecutive loss in years. I think Pittsburgh handles Baltimore, and then Minnesota at Tennessee. Tennessee is at home. And like my grandfather would always say, even a broke clock is right twice a day. I think Tennessee wins this game over Minnesota.
Um, Ravens gonna handle business, and I think Tennessee's gonna beat the Vikings. Um, now, yeah, I'm much higher on the on the Titans than both of y'all, but yeah, I think the Titans are going to
Way
have
high.
a surprising season.
So now going to this is a terrible combination because of who you two people are. I don't think we can get accurate analysis of this game. So Cleveland at New Orleans. All right, so we got Cleveland at New Orleans. Schematically, I Cleveland struggles on the road defensively, right? Like I said,
New
I
Orleans
think New
struggles
Orleans is going to be
period.
starting a rookie.
I said New Orleans
I
struggles
think
period.
Yeah, they do. They do. I think they'll be starting a rookie quarterback at this point in time. I really trust Stefanski, but Dennis Allen has been known to put together a really good defensive strategy, and I feel like because things are going to implode the previous week versus the Falcons, The offensive game plan is going to be really, really simplified. Focus on ball control. Focus on making sure that the reads are really, really simple. And that Cleveland defense tends to give up a little. I say all that to say Cleveland by 7, right? I still think that Cleveland has enough to put the Saints away. So, but I think this game is going to be a lot closer. I wouldn't be surprised if the spread on this game was 8 or 9, and it ends up being like a 4 to 7 point game. I would not be surprised at all.
This is another game that, even though the game's on the road, I think everybody's going to say, well, Cleveland's just going to go in there and take care of business. They're a much better team. There's more power there. There's more speed there. But Cleveland has a tendency to lose games that they have no business losing. They have no business losing here to the Saints. They should be able to beat the Saints blindfolded and with one hand tied behind their backs. But Cleveland's on the road. They're expected to win. I think the Saints pull this one off.
Miles Garrett is about to owe the New Orleans Saints rent money for how often he's going to be in the backfield. He might as well be living back there. Him and whoever the quarterback is going to be borderline roommates. It's not going to be pretty defensive. The offense might not do much, but the Saints offense ain't doing nothing. This game might be like 10-3.
I could see that.
Yeah, I would not be surprised actually at all. Going on to the late games in the Sunday night, you got Seattle at San Fran, KC at Buffalo, big one, Cincy at the Chargers, and then Indy at the Jets. So, got San Fran getting back on their swag. They're go ahead handle Seattle. KC Buffalo, I think is gonna deal in tiebreakers. Like I think that's gonna be a pretty important game. So I'll take Buffalo there. I actually think that during the regular season, Josh Allen tends to show up during Mahomes. Tends to show up versus Mahomes. Cincinnati at LA. I had LA having a surprising loss 2 weeks ago, getting back on their horse last week. But I think this is going to be a pretty up and down season for them. And so I got Cincy beating them there. And then Indy at the Jets. I think, like I said 2 weeks ago, that started the Jets spiral. I think Indy wins this game, and now the Jets' playoff chances are in serious peril.
Seattle at the 49ers. A game that the Niners should win. But a game that the Niners will not win as they continue their Super Bowl hangover. People began questioning what has happened to San Francisco. KC at Buffalo. Buffalo will need this game at this point. KC doesn't. I'm gonna give Buffalo the win here because KC is human. Cincinnati and the Chargers, the Bengals need to keep pace because Cleveland and Baltimore continue to win. So I'm going to give Cincinnati the edge over the Chargers. And then Indianapolis and the Jets. This is going to be Indianapolis and the Jets will. I'm not sure the Jets know exactly what they want to do on offense by this point in time. I predict that there's going to be a big, I don't want to say confrontation, but people are getting tired of Aaron Rodgers by this point, and he's not performing up to what they believe he should be. They were really upset last week. They're going to be even more upset this week when Indianapolis beats them in New York.
Okay. I'm going to take the Seahawks over the Niners. I think Matt McDonald's going to be able to put together a good defensive scheme to slow down the Niners offense. Um, I'm going to take the Chiefs over the Bills. Mahomes is going to continue to show Josh Allen he little bro.
She
Um,
busy, little bro. All right, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm going to take the Bengals over the Chargers. I think the Chargers could end up dwindling down the season, but I mean, yeah. I think the Jets are going to handle the Colts. Aaron Rodgers is going to do Aaron Rodgers things.
So our game for the week is the Falcons at Denver. Surprisingly, we're right around 500 facing Denver all time, and we do really good against Denver in Denver. Now, granted, the last game I remember them playing was like Paxton Lynch or something, and I think they played in Denver. And if I'm not mistaken, whoever it might have been Beasley got off that game, but it was Paxton Lynch. I distinctly remember the last time we played them, it was Paxton Lynch. So that kind of is thrown out the window, and that's been a while, right? But Denver this year, we might be going up against Bo Nix. I wouldn't say might. I would say it's pretty solidified. We're going against Bo Nix at this point in the season, and I have a vested interest in the amount of crap that I've talked about Bo Nix for him not to beat the Falcons. So, like on GP, I got to choose the Falcons on this one. Got to choose the Falcons on this one, and they got to come through just for my sake, as a person who like picks games and talks about prospects and whatnot. So, it's the only reason I'm really choosing them there. I need the Falcons to win that. I'm highly invested there.
Atlanta at Denver. Denver sucks, which is why they'll have the rookie at quarterback by this point, and he's going to learn the hard way. I think Atlanta comes in there and takes care of business. Although Bo could show some stuff, but I don't think he's going to show enough stuff to beat the Falcons.
Okay. So to respond to you, Q, last time we played them, Drew Lock was the starter. It was back in 2020.
Oh, we played them again. Well, yeah, every 4 years, right?
So, yeah,
So I'm thinking
they
20.
came here. Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Um. Now, I do think Bo Nix is probably going to end up being the day one starter, but this game is going to be a sentimental game because the Falcons' newest free agent addition has spent 8 years in Denver, and this will be his first game back. Um, and I think he might be a little, obviously he's going to be appreciative of the time he's had there, but he's probably going to be less salty because they cut him off of you know, a very good year. So, I think the Falcons are going to go get this game for him. It's not going to be pretty, and then it's going to be even better because we get to stick it to Sean Payton again.
Need that. Need that. All right, ending the season is the Texas Bowl. We've got Houston at Dallas. Um, I got Houston this game. Um, you know, yeah, same state. It's like a 4 hour trip, but and Cowboys fans pack out. So I'm not saying that it's not going to be a home game, but I think Dallas' season is kind of off the rails at this point. Wouldn't be surprised if some Houston fans showed up and showed out, and I think this game gets ugly quick. Um, Micah is a huge presence on pass rushing, but you got Tunzel on one side, and I'm thinking Will something. Will Howard? No. I forget the other tackle, but the Texas tackles are pretty solid. It allows CJ to stay upright. I think this game gets out of hand quickly. Um, so I got Houston.
Although I think Houston is the better team. Dallas is playing at home on Monday night. It'll be the second week. I think the second week for their new coach, or is this the third week for their new coach? Second week, yes. And because of that, I'm just going to give it to the Cowboys. I do believe that the Texans are a better team, but I just think the home cooking for Dallas is going to be a little bit too much for Houston. So I'll give it to the Cowboys.
You know, I don't know how much of a home game this really is. I mean, it's only a 3-hour drive.
That's true.
And then it being a night game, Houston gonna show up and show out. So, yeah, I think Dallas gonna tuck their tails and beg Bill Belichick to coach them.
You got Bill going to Dallas. You got Bill going to Philly.
No. It's one of them two. It's one of them two. But I think he ultimately ends up in Dallas.
I wouldn't be surprised. So that ends us for week 11. Come back. Come back for next week. We'll be going through 12 through 15. Appreciate y'all. Bill, can you tell people where to find you?
tinyurl.com/AAFP1969, the American Association of Football Prognosticators.
All right, you guys, that'll be down in the link. We appreciate y'all. This has been your boy Q City.
Your boy Ty Bravado.
And the Orange Man.
And we out.
Peace.
Chapo, looking like I hit the lotto. I want a hottie like mulatto. I'm on here and she on Moscato. I'm in them good till tomorrow. I'm a robber for the Neros. Your little loss, I'ma put you on payroll. You smell that aroma? Design the air, it's a party here. Papa Corona, she moving her body, she working them heels. Gotta go get it mentality. Grocery bag full of celery. Only believe half what you telling me. Keep a 20 on me in case emergency. I wake up early every morning. Thank the Lord and get the bag. Hustle hard, get the cash. Stack first, then I'm showing my ass. Gotta go get it mentality. Grocery bag full of celery. Only believe half what you telling me. Keep a 20 on me in case emergency.
My babies, that's who I grind for. That's who I do it for. Like the Navy, that's who I'm toting that iron for. Keep one in the head like a thought, nigga. Yeah, I fuck with Ty, he a boss, nigga. Foot on that neck, I exhaust, nigga. Niggas cross me, so I cross, nigga. No stripper was lit last night. 500, what it cost, nigga. Shit was really legit last night. Had them hoes at the house, nigga. Instagram, Snapchat, Triller. What they say about Jay, he a go-getter. Used to have them fat sacks in the grove, nigga. Late nights, early morning, my dough, nigga.
You smell that aroma? Design the air, it's a party here. Papa Corona, she moving her body, she working them heels. Gotta go get it mentality. Grocery bag full of celery. Only believe half what you telling me. Keep a 20